to be. We look down the field, people there like Lane Hutchings is in there. Bruce Van Taplin in that 4AGE Corolla, which is actually a 2-litre. Now, Bruce is actually an ex-Works Toyota mechanic. So they work the way. Right, here we go. Coming up towards the line, lights on, the lights will go off, and away they go. Onto the allowed pedal is Michael Hitchcock. And, we look like Lane Hutchings has withdrawn. Lane Hutchings has withdrawn. The problem with his car now. But still, having a look at the sharp end of the field there as they go through Block Point Corner. It's Michael Hitchcock leading out there on Franco Donadio. Hitchcock gets on the loud pedal. Oh, look at that. And Putty Van Sale doing a little bit of rallycross there on the inside. As they're all working their way into Castrol Corner. Those big blocks of flats working their way through there. And they come around and, Franco Donadio is sitting there with Michael Hitchcock. Have a look at this. This way, that way. Franco wants to try and squeeze up the front. Michael is using all 5.7 litres of that V8 and working his way up to Sorrel for the Maver sweep. Look at this. Nose to tail stuff out of there. Working their way down now, down the back straight, down towards Perdimeter Fostron. And this is going to be a spectacular race because Franco Donadio is not letting that big Fiat muscle car get away by any manner of means. And have a look there, Dave Rowley, the Beetle, and the rest of the field working their way there through. Sorrel for the Maver sweep.
Yep, we look back to the lead now. The front just is opening up ever so slightly. There's the Fairlane and Ferdi Heat in the Mustang. Putty Van Sale went farming a little bit and down south, not up west like where he lives there by the farms. But he collected that Fairmont and got back underway. He's a little bit spots down, but he'll carry on. As we watch the rest of the field, there's good to Appelgrein in the fine cars as well. We'll jump back to them a little bit later. But now Michael Hitchcock has pulled a lead to Franco Donadio as they go down into Block Point Corner. You see the two Capris as Brian Evans goes up the inside onto the dirt. He gets two wheels and gets a little bit squirrely, but collects himself as well. As there, Robert Rowe, Bruce Van Taplin, there's Wayne Lotter, there's Gary Ferri, Dave Rowley and Trevor Hutchings as the rest come into Block Point.
Right there, Putty Van Sale there with that big Fairmont working his way through. Eric van der Merwe, that Porsche 94 sits in there. All working their way through. It's brilliant stuff there. And there's Bruce Van Taplin also having a bit of a scrap there. Right, so Glenn Adam-Bogart in the Granada and Mark Adam-Bogart in that big red Ford Fairlane. There you see it go through your picture there. There's Ferdi Maton, there's Putty Van Sale. They're all having a right royal rumble, these big 8-cylinder muscle machines. And the rest of the field working their way through, coming down, and the leaders coming up, going to be coming out of Perdimeter Fostron and having a look-see as they work their way now through Sorrel Sweep.
Now they exit to the rear end of the field, rather, as we jump back to the front end of the field, and there is Michael Hitchcock in the cross-country forklift Mustang ahead of the Donadio Hire Ford Escort. There we see the Piranha. There is the two Capris of Jared Evans and Trevor Momberg. Then it was the Fairlane of Mark Adam-Bogart. So there's a bunch of groups of two that are racing at the front end of the field now. Now look to this. Robert Rowe peeling ahead of Wayne Lotter and Bruce Van Taplin as they now go through Block Point Corner, turn 1. There's Charles Arton. Now look at this. Two Mark II Golfs. Trevor Hutchings and Gary Ferri. And that is the Scirocco, I believe. That also makes its way by there. Stephen Manuel and Calvin Beertman. Vance Kearney also there in the Scirocco. He made his way through the picture a little bit ago. As we jump back towards the front end of the field, there's the Caprice, there's the Fairlane of Adam-Bogart, and back to this fine battle between the Mustang and Ferdi Mouton rather, and Putty Van Sale in the Fairmont, and then the Porsche of Eric van der Merwe and Brian Evans in the Escort as they race on down towards the final corner.
Right, so Putty Van Sale in that massive Ford Fairmont having a right roll scrap with his garage stable mate there, Ferdi Mouton. And the jokes, well, the jokes are on in the garage, but on circuit there's no jokes. Eric van der Merwe's in there for the mix and Brian Evans is in there as well. Have a look at this four-way tussle. Ferdi Mouton coming out on top. There's Glenn Adam-Bogart coming through. Here's Ferdi Mouton and Putty Van Sale is loud and proud on the hot pedal as he goes down towards Block Point Corner. Putty Van Sale is on the outside. And Putty van Sail takes the lead over there from Ferdi Heat. The Joker's down, Ferdi.
We just watch now. There is, I believe that's Brian Bedeen in the 44 that Datsun has pulled off to the side of the circuit. Just on the left-hand side there, you see of the picture, the driver's out is Brian Bedeen. He's moved over and gotten out of the car. It is in a little bit of a precarious spot on the circuit as you see the cars firing on by. He jumps over the Armco, so he's in a safe position as there we catch up with Gunther Appelgren. There's Daniel Lotte Jr. There is Dave Alexander in the Morgan.
Right, so there we go. There's Trevor Hutchings, and inside him there is Manuel. Manuel goes through in that Skyline Jelix, works his way through. Calvin Deepman in that Morris having a lovely drive ahead of the rest of the field. So great stuff as they all work their way through.
Now we look towards turn number 2. And there you see our leader, Michael Hitchcock, lights ablaze. As Franco Donadier not that far behind. As he goes into turn 2, there is Engelbrecht in the Cortina. And just gets lapped now at the moment. Down past some more back markers. Michael Hitchcock will go, but this will slow him right down. As there, that is the Scirocco of Lane Hutchings that did stop on the grid offline, but he's now got that car fired up again and is still running. Michael Hitchcock gets caught behind chair lady of fine car Natasha Tischendorf as they go past that yellow flag zone, as Brian Bedeen in the 44 Datsun still sits aside. Down towards turn number 5 they go, Kurt Tamina Fostron. There is a report that there's oil on the circuit in turn number 4, so very cautiously do all the drivers have to go through. They don't know that, but they will see a change of surface board as coming up on 4 laps to go. Franco Donadier now is closing up on the back end of Michael Hitchcock.
But Franco Donadier has been using the traffic to his advantage, and that's why it's a little bit close to Michael Hitchcock. There's a replay on screen for the viewers at home of Bedeen's car that looks like the engine gave the ghost there. But back on screen and to our viewers around the circuit, Natasha Tischendorf's got the likes there of Trevor Hutchings, or Lane Hutchings, and up behind him is Trevor Hutchings, but I think Lane is a lap or 2 down there, so he is down on the bottom end of the field there. As they work their way through, Hitchcock leads Donadier, leads Evans, leads Barker, Adam Bogart, then Putty van Sail, Eric van der Merwe, Ferdi Heat going backwards. Ferdi will not be happy. But Ferdi very relaxed at the moment and quite off the pace. I am not sure if he's got a bit of an issue because he's got the likes of Brian Evans hunting him. Rest of the field going through turn number 1. There's Wayne Lotte, there's Bruce Van Taplin going through there. Some of the other cars coming through there, JT, the Dow Rally, and then Gary Free in the Mark 1 Golf.
There's a couple of guys that are dropping like flies. I saw Glenade Bogart in the Piranha pull into the pit, so he'll be out of this race as well. One of the Ford Escorts, I don't know if that is the Van Linden car or one of if that's Daniel Lotte Jr. that's also pulled off the side of the circuit.
Oh, a big one there is Trevor Momberg that's off. Trevor Momberg pulled off. No, he's gone into pit lane,
yes.
So
we've just got a couple of people dropping like flies. We don't know when and where they've gone off. Trevor Hutchings in the Mark II Golf is there. You'll see him on the right-hand side of your screen coming down the Killarney Straight. He's slowing right down. He has been for a lap or 2, as there's a huge bunch of cars going out of turn number 2, Castro Corner. He'll move over to the side of the circuit. Here comes Rob Rowe. Here comes Bruce Van Taplin and Wayne Lotte. As now, look at this bunch of fine cars as well coming down. And this is where the traffic starts.
Yeah, that's a mix-up in a Dixie there coming through on some of the fine cars, the likes of Roger Lewis, Koos Engelbrecht. But your leaders, there's Michael Hitchcock. And you can see Michael Hitchcock's got trouble there because Franco Donadier is going to be a lot closer because Franco is sitting up behind him using the traffic. And there goes Michael. There's Franco Donadier right there with him. He's about half a second off the pace as they work their way down into Ferdi Heat Fastron. And man, this is exciting stuff. We've still got 3 laps to go. Donadio is not giving up. He's sitting right there with Hitchcock, and Hitchcock's going to have to climb on the loud pedals. Got a bit of clear traffic ahead of him and might use this to his benefit as he comes out of Pertamina Frostron up the Porsche Straight under the City of Cape Town Castrol Bridge, and the lights ablaze, and he's on the loud pedal, but the Pinto Escort Mark 1 is sitting right there. Franco Donadio is there, and he's giving him some food for thought.
As we see some of the fine cars, the likes of Dave Alexander, Gunther Appelgren, Natasha Tischendorf, Roger Lewis still lapping a little bit further behind. As here we see some of the cars come into, there is Jermaine Bedien rather, coming out of the final corner. There's Eric van der Merwe and Boetie van Zyl. They're still fighting it out for what will be 5th spot overall as they race on down past us in the commentary box. Now 4th overall rather is what they, no, I lied, 5th overall is what they're fighting for as they go down into Block Point Corner. There you see the fair lane of Mark Bogart just ahead of him. That's him in 4th spot overall. There's Roger Lewis. There is Jared Evans in the 414 Capri that just sits in 3rd overall, 1st in class as they race on down to Castrol Corner.
Oh, lots happening. Boetie van Zyl on screen. They're going into Castrol. Up behind him is Byron Bedien. Here comes Brian Evans in that beautifully turned out Mark 1 Escort. Then it's Lane Hutchings, and he's up there behind Ferdi Maton. And Ferdi has got a problem because Lane just pulls in up behind him. Natasha Tischendorf, a lap down, sits up there behind them. But it's all happening on screen now for the viewers at home. And there's Trevor Hutchins slowing down in the Mark 1 Golf. Gunther Appelgren is in there. Up behind him, I think, is one of the fine cars. And that could be Roger Lewis. Lewis there in the classic car sits up, or the fine car sits up behind him. That Calvin Beekman, that Morris is just next level.
Well, not quite as we look down into turn number 1. There's Stephen Manuel. Stephen Manuel is in the classic car section, but now look at this battle as there is Brad Rowe. And just ahead of Brad Rowe is that Morris of Calvin Beekman, but the 2 fine cars are passing those 2 as we look now to the leader on the final lap. 3 more corners left to go. Sliding through turn number 3, damn step goes Franco Donadio through the fastest corner on the circuit. Sorrel sweep they go. It is still Michael Hitchcock from Franco Donadio as they go down the Killarney Straight for the final time.
Oh, classic and fine cars. It never fails to excite. Now your leader coming out of Pertamina Frostron. There he is on screen, Michael Hitchcock. 5.7 litre V8 Ford Mustang. 67 Coupe. As he works his way out now, he comes up towards the start-finish line. Is the checkered flag beckoning? Indeed it is. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. Michael Hitchcock brings it home, and right up behind him from Donadio Plant Hire, it's Franco Donadio. And coming up is the fine car leader, and that is Vance Kearney. Our man all the way from the United Kingdom, and it shows you we have got a bit of international flavour. Vance Kearney here for the summer. He will enjoy the South African summer. Here comes the rest of the field out of Pertamina Frostron. Gunther Appelgren is there. And Manuel is in there as well. There's Calvin Beekman. Here they come up towards us. And sitting up behind him, Jared Evans. Third comes through. Jared Evans. Here comes Glenn Hayton Bogart, Eric van der Merwe, and Boetie van Zyl. Wow. There goes Brian Evans coming out there. That should be Ferdi Maton in the other Mustang. Yep, Ferdi, not quite his race. I will go and chat to him just down here. What is the story, Ferdi? Why did you place there? Because we know what he's capable of. His car, not quite on the car of Michael Hitchcock, but very close and looking exceptionally strong.
Now still a battle to the line between the Japanese Toyota and the German BMW, between Bruce Van Taplin and Robert Rowe. This will be almost a drag race to the line, but Bruce Van Taplin in the Corolla will beat out Rob Rowe